Okay, so you want to study hard this year. Maybe some important exams are coming. You are researching all over the internet. You're watching Andrew Huberman's podcast reading some books on tips how to study better and more efficiently. You're scheduling your whole day on Google Calendar, planning to be extra productive and consistent. But there is one more thing missing, and this is building the foundations. You have to upgrade your vehicle, which is your body, to make the most out of your work. There are three things I think build the biggest foundation for basically anything in life. And the most important one of them is sleep. It's obvious, I know, but sleep makes the most difference in every sphere of your life, not only when it comes to studying. As you think of it, think of evolution, right? Evolution allowed us, us as monkeys, as cavemen, to be unconscious, and not only people, I mean not only humans, but also other animals. For example, birds are sleeping, your dog or your cat is sleeping also. Evolution allowed us, all animals, to be unconscious for us humans for 8 hours a day. Unconscious. We are, really vulnerable. We are prone to, attacks from other predators or something. We can be killed effortlessly because we are technically unconscious. Yet the sleep was so powerful that evolution decided to leave it there because it couldn't find anything better when it comes to recovery than the sleep itself. When it comes to my story, I want to tell you just one thing, that I started, about 2 years ago to sleep for 9 hours a day when still going to school that started at 7:45 a.m. I slept for 9 hours, waking up every day at 5:30, going to bed at 8:30, so quite early. I was sleeping for 9 hours every day, and at the end of the last school year, I got a GPA of 5.13. which is extinction here. In Poland, the highest grade is 6. So yeah, I had incredible results, and I believe that the sleep is the thing that changed everything, because I have to mention it. I wasn't studying much more. I wasn't studying more at all. I was just sleeping and maxing my health, because I was there exercising and sleeping and doing meditation and stuff. But just by maxing my health, which I think sleep had the biggest role in it, my results skyrocketed. This is a real-world example why sleep is so important and so powerful. It's a single one thing you can do to instantly get a +10 level up in life. So when it comes to sleep rules, what makes good sleep, in my opinion, I have 3 things listed, and first of them is sleep hygiene. Mainly, it means light control. I'm controlling my light in my environment. For example, when there's summer and I'm going to bed very early, I'm paying attention to not consuming much sunlight with my eyes when, in my evening, let's call it. And then when I wake up, when it's still dark outside, I'm, turning on all the bright LEDs just to get enough light in my eyes to just tell my brain that this is the waking time. And the same goes for the most important part of your sleep routine, which is 1 hour before bed. You have to do something like wind down routine, and during this time I turn on red lights. I have these nanolies left from when I was a gamer. So in the evening I'm using this dim, the red light, and also when it comes to the sleeping itself, I put a sleep mask on so no light gets into my eyes. Second thing is the environment itself. Environment, what I mean by that is peaceful, quiet and cold environment. This allows a restful sleep. Why it has to be cold? Because biologically we sleep better when it's cold. Because our body sleeps when its body temperature is lower. So we can kind of manipulate our body temperature, but by changing our environment temperature, by making it lower, we're also lowering our own body temperature. Also, it has to be calm and quiet, because those are the prerequisites to good sleep. So just by having the good environment and then good hygiene, you're just basically making a sleep place that your brain knows it can rest in. First thing when it comes to sleep is consistent bedtime routine. This is very important, yet very neglected, because people do not like to wake up, especially on weekends, at the same time they wake up to, for example, to school at the week. So for example, now I'm waking up at 4:45 every day because I like to do my work, the most important tasks in the morning. And I'm waking this early because I have a school pretty early too, at 7:45. So I want to have at least this 1 hour in the morning when I can focus and do the most important task of the day. But then the weekend comes and still my alarm goes off at 4:45 because I want to build a momentum. I want to teach my brain that when there is like 8:30 or something like this, I'm going to bed and I'm waking up every day at 4:45. So my brain kind of processes it and then automatically associates that these hours are the hours that are reserved for sleep. Also, there were some recent studies, I believe, but I'm not sure, the author of Why We Sleep, by Matthew Walker especially, by Matthew Walker, that said that the sleep consistency, so how consistent are we going to bed every day when it comes to, going to bedtime and waking up times are far more important for the sleep quality and health itself than just a length. For example, even though you would be sleeping every day for 8 hours, but one day you would, go to bed at 8 and wake up at 4, and next day you would go, at midnight and wake up at 8, this would be worse, far worse, and this would be even bad for your health in comparison to just waking up and going to bed at the same time every day. So, it's worth to keep in mind. Going on to the second thing on my list is stopping to frying your brain. What I mean by that is that most people, when I look to my peers or my sister, for example, they know that when they are sitting and studying, like focusing on the book, they have D&D turned on, at least most of them, because they know that it's bad for you to just, have some random distractions. But then they finish their studying session and they're already on their TikTok, on their Instagram, or, just doing some unhealthy things when it comes to dopamine, when it comes to, those all addictive things like some substances, like, some smoke, some drink, I don't know. But most of people, of course, they do not sit off TikTok when they are studying, but after they are studying, they are there on TikTok immediately. And why is it bad? Because it teaches your brain to pursue this kind of dopamine, because it teaches your brain so that it knows that there in the world is something like TikTok, like short form content, which is so amusing and so funny, let's call it, that it always strives for having this kind of pleasure in life. If you stop indulging in such stimulating activities, your brain starts to enjoy little things more. So then when you sit to focus, when you sit to study, your brain doesn't consider it as very boring, because it cannot compare it to something as stimulating as watching short-form content, right? So instead of embracing hyperactive, stimulating lifestyle, try to maybe embrace spirituality, living in peace and boredom. So the third thing on my list is diet and exercise. So let's start with a diet. Why is it important? It's important because we tend to think that we have to eat in order to our physical body, for our movements to kind of make sense, to have some energy for movement, right? But we do not think, at least most of us, that the things are eating are powering our brain too. So by delivering the quality foods, the quality fuel to our stomachs, we are automatically making our brains better, because it's like fueling them up with better fuel. Exercise is also great. It promotes like neural growth and learning, because just as Barbara Oakley said in her book about studying, Exercise promotes diffuse mode of learning. It's when our brain processes everything we learn during like deliberate session of learning, which makes it more comprehended in our minds, if you know what I mean. So concluding, all of those three things correlate with each other: sleep, diet, exercise, and healthy dopamine habits. As you think of it, by not eating weird foods, you're allowing your body to sleep better. By not frying your dopamine, you're allowing also your brain to sleep better. If you're, for example, sleep better, you're not prone to scrolling because you're like have more willpower and more discipline to, do productive things rather than just, mindlessly scroll. So with these foundations, if you nail all of them, I can guarantee that without changing a single thing about your studying itself, you will double your results. Health is everything, from looks, attractiveness, strength, mental health, to focusing and learning. So embrace it. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you being that far. Sorry if my English is broken, but today something is really off. However, leave some comments if you think that something I said resonates with you. Let's connect. See you in the next video. See you.